Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and this is my spoiler review for the new Hulu original series, which is also available on Disney Plus if you have the bundle, The Twisted Tales of Amanda Knox. This is episode 1 spoiler review. So let me just clear it all up. Now, I'm only reviewing what's based on this show. I will share some facts, whether it actually happened or it didn't happen, to the actual story of Amanda Knox, of this trial case that she was accused of and all that. So I'll do my best with that, but I'm basically just going to do a spoiler review based on the episode and just how I feel about the episode, of course, and how I feel about the story, the plot, the dialogue. And again, like, guys, I will definitely point out which was facts and which one's fiction. So definitely don't worry about this. So again, if you have not seen this show yet, please pause this, go watch it. But before you go and watch it, could you hit the thumbs up button, because that would help my YouTube channel out, and I truly appreciate it, and I thank you guys in advance. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now, let's get into it. This episode starts off with Amanda and her baby, and seems to be a boyfriend or husband in a car with a vehicle with her mother as well. And she's hiding under a blanket in the back seat of the car, avoiding the police officers, as the narration of Amanda tells how it began. When Amanda's in her junior year in college, went to abroad to Italy for college. When she's narrating her childhood life and her young adult life, she explains that she's living two different lives, which this kind of shows some animation. This shows some type of animation on what Amanda sees in her mind and what actually is the reality of her life. So basically, Amanda Knox, it shows in this episode, like, a lot of people in her childhood life, like, kids just being mean. All kids are mean at some point. They just call her weird. They think she's strange. They think she's too different. But we see that she seems kind of lonely. She seemed kind of isolated, but she, just did kid stuff. She played with toys, dolls, Barbie dolls. She had a really good imagination. And so it's just showing us that there's a difference of what's going on in her mind, of how she perceives things and how she emotionally handles things as well. And we see her parents not together. It seems like they're not together, but they seem to be co-parenting. And so, she explains how her parents met. She explains, like, they had an argument and the dad kind of walked out, but he was still in her life in a way. And you can't really tell sometimes, because this is the type of story where you can't really trust the narrator, which is the star of the show, Amanda Knox. And it's just explaining, like, how she thinks that what's going on, but it's probably not actually what's happening in the reality of a split parents, kids just bullying her. There's probably it's really much darker than what she's trying to explain it. And she seems like she's having a happy life, but she might not have a happy life going on in her life at the moment. And then in the scene, she explains how she decided to go aboard. Her parents seem to agree to do this, and she goes to Italy. And this is where she explains she meets her roommate, and this is like how the beginning of the death of her roommate, Meredith, her best friend. And it seems to have great memories. They seem to have bonded a lot. But as Amanda friend Meredith's friends from England, they weren't too fond of her because she explains that when it's just her, Amanda and Meredith, they seem very friendly. They seem like best friends, like besties. And they take photos, selfies, they go out, they do college things. They do college things with college guys. They do parties. But then she explains, and this is kind of like what I get out of it. Maybe in her mind, Amanda's mind, she's her perspective in this, how she perceives this is how this is normal for her, right? But then it seems innocent, it seems friendly, it seems like a perfect what's the word you're looking for? Kind of like a perfect story. A perfect college basic life, right? But then when we get to the scene where she explains they try to combine her life and Amanda's life, because Meredith is from England. Amanda is from America. And they try to mash them up, but it seems like Meredith's friends who are from England, they don't like her. They think she's weird. They think she's shady. And it just explains that maybe maybe there's something, Amanda's a little bit off. So I'm not saying the actual Amanda Knox is crazy or a little bit off the noggin or anything, but the way this episode, the way the director, the producers, the screenwriters are trying to say that maybe she's nuts, maybe she's crazy, right? Because in this scene, right, they're having like dinner at a actual legit Italian restaurant, and we see Amanda Knox take the whole plate, and she's just licking it, like the whole plate. Now, I don't know. I seen people do that before. I'm not a person who does that or nothing, but it don't. The Meredith's friends from England doesn't consider that quote unquote normal. But again, I don't know if that's actually true or not, if they actually think she's crazy. But the way this show is so far, they're portraying Amanda Knox a little bit crazy in this. The next scene gives us another date, time, and year. So November 2nd, 2007 at 10:13 a.m. So this is where Amanda's still in college and she has a boyfriend. Now, the boyfriend in 2007 is different from Amanda's either boyfriend or husband in the year 2022, which in the first scene of episode 1, it dated that June 16, 2022 at 6:53 a.m. She's on the road in the back seat of the car, hiding under the blanket because she is accused of murdering her roommate in Italy. So Amanda's like in this relationship, and it seems cute. It seems very normal. Like, for example, what a college students would do was they would hook up. You do homework, you hook up, you do the boom boom, whatever, right? It's normal. And it just seems like Amanda and Meredith had each other's back when it came to guys, because it's college, right? You're in Italy. You're far away from your family. You don't have your mom and dad with you, and you're just hooking up with random strangers. So it seems like the two had each other's back in the sense, like they said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be out in the other room. I got your back," type thing. So it just seems very normal. But as we learn in this relationship, that it wasn't all that great with her, right? She crashed over to his place, and you know she was getting ready to head back to her place where her and her roommates are hanging out, and then this is where she discovers that something wasn't right. The door was left open, and things were stolen. A window was open, and there was blood. There was dry blood, wet blood, and somebody dropped a deuce in their bathroom and didn't flush. And one of her roommates wasn't there, and she called all her roommates asking where's Meredith. And the one thing about the thing, we learned that Meredith doesn't usually lock her door, her room door. And so in this scene, we see Amanda. She's the only one in this house right now that her and her roommates are just renting for a moment for college. And she does these odd things. She knows there's blood on the mat, the mat that you would put in your bathroom, but she still takes a shower. She still brushes her teeth, combs her hair, she's doing her laundry, but yet she sees that there's blood, in the bathroom, but yet she still takes a shower knowing there's blood on the bathroom sink. So it's a little strange. Now, again, I didn't write this show, but they're portraying that she's kind of, Amanda Knox is delusional. And so after she gets cleaned up, she's knocking on the door and she's freaking out. And then she calls her boyfriend and she explains this and happened. He checks to make sure, because she says, Amanda Knox says that she believes the person who broke in to their house that they're renting, the college kids, that this person was still in there. But then they call the cops because they don't know what's going on, because Meredith again has never, quote unquote, locked her bedroom door, because all her Knox's roommates are all females. So it's like Amanda Knox and three other women. So realistically, they probably weren't locking the doors. They were very comfortable, letting it all out, right? That's what girls do, I guess, in college. But that's the kind of thing they do. But then when we get to it, different police officers are coming, and then there's this big argument. One of the roommates comes back, and she's freaking out. She's upset. And then all of a sudden, they finally get the door open, and they see a dead body. And it's Meredith's body. And this is where things just go sideways. Now, when we go through the eyes of Amanda Knox, she's explaining it like she had nothing to do with it, but then other roommates are calling her out. One thing that really stuck out to me is one of the police officers asked Amanda Knox that how often does she lock her bedroom door? And she said, oh, just when she gets out of the shower or changing clothes or whatever. And one of the roommates who's in tears and freaking out because again they saw a dead body, right? She's calling Amanda out like, how would you know, like you're really her friend type thing. So who's it seems like Amanda is not telling the truth, or she's a little bit delusional. So they're teasing two different things about it. Another thing that's very interesting is Amanda is not showing any type of emotion. Obviously sad, shock, scared. She's not showing any type of those things in front of everybody, because everybody else in the roommates and close friends to Meredith is just in shock, devastated. They don't know what's going on. And here's Amanda and her boyfriend. They're just like outside of this like house, like an Airbnb house, and there are like she's just making out with her boyfriend, and then we're seeing like photographers and the press in Italy, and they're taking photos of. So now she's looking really suspicious. And another interesting thing is she talks to one and two the lady detectives and changes a story about it. She said she talked about in the first part of the scene that she told the police she didn't flush the toilet, that this supposedly burglar who broke into their house that they're staying in and dropped the number 2 in the toilet, dropped the deuce, right? But now she told a female detective that she did, right? So why did she lie? Why did Amanda lie? Amanda Knox. And so now she's looking more suspicious. But she's keeping very cool. She's very calm in this whole thing. And then we get to there, and then the scene goes back to June 16, 2022 at 6:53 a.m., showing Amanda and her mom and either boyfriend or husband passing these police officers who are checking everybody's vehicles as they drive through this entrance or a bridge type thing in Italy. And she makes it through, and it was just an odd thing. So it just shows that she's not telling the truth again. So either she knows she did it, or obviously she's innocent. So it just takes back, but then again it takes us back to November 2nd of 2007. So now we're back in the past of this story of Amanda Knox. And they go back to the police station, and she explains what's going on. And then, according to the detective, Meredith, the victim, Meredith, her throat was sliced. And again, Amanda just seems way too calm, but people grieve differently. So I can't say that she did it. You can't really say. You can. I mean, it's up to y'all. It's all your opinions. But for me, I can't say based on one episode that she's the murderer. Amanda Knox is the murderer to her roommate Meredith. So again, people grieve differently, and this is how this episode is trying to explain. So there's a little bit of teasing. It can go left, it can go right, it can go forward, it can go backwards with it. But we just know that Amanda Knox is very calm and collective to this. And so the next scene shows again back to June 16th, 2022 at 12:14 p.m. So far, episode 1 is giving us months, dates, times, and years of when this all went down in episode 1. So the next episode, or the next scene, I should say, we see the police work, do police stuff. The detectives are asking questions. They're asking people who know Meredith. And when we get to this next scene, it's November 3rd, 2002 at 3:12 a.m. in Italy. Meredith's friends from England are telling the detectives that Amanda is bringing a lot of guys to their apartment that Amanda and her roommates are staying at. So the boyfriend in 2002 is just a guy that she met not even a week. So it's not like she's been with this guy for like 6 months or a year. She only hooked up with this guy less than a week, and she's making out with him at a police station as the whole world is shocked that Amanda's best friend is literally murdered. So it's a little nuts, but why does Amanda do that? What caused Amanda to act like this is the mystery. And who killed Meredith? That's the number one question too. And so now we know that it bothered Amanda's roommates that she would have multiple one night stands with multiple men. So it made the women feel a little uncomfortable. Again, this happened in 2007, right? Or 2002, I should say. No, 2007. I apologize. The one thing I thought was funny is in this episode, the roommates ask Amanda not to bring up that they smoke the Mary Jane. Because in Italy, you're not allowed to smoke Mary Jane in that year, and I don't think you can smoke Mary Jane in 2025 as well. So, because if they did, they would have been in big trouble, and they would the girls, the women, the college women would have lost their jobs too. So they asked her not to snitch on that part, and so she didn't tell the cops that they smoked the green stuff. And we also learn now it's finally reviewed by the end of this episode. We found out that in, the year 2022, Amanda has a different husband name. I believe his name is Chris. And they're going to this place where they meet the detective, the male detective from the first episode, to meet up. Now, I don't know if it's a trap, but the cops are coming to arrest Amanda Knox. So it's very interesting to what's going to happen. But that's how that episode ends. Is they meet the detective at a Catholic church. There's a priest, and that's how it ended. So what I think about this is literally a plot twist to a plot twist to a plot twist. And what I like about episode 1 so far is I love how they're showing, like, you can't really trust Amanda's, like, narrative to the story she's telling you, the audience. And I like the idea, too, that they're showing, okay, here's what happened in this year, and here's what's happening in that year. So you get the past and the current time within the timeline of this based off a true story of Amanda Knox. So let's get into some things that I discovered that could be facts or fiction. So let's start with the first one. The first fact is Amanda Knox legit did go back to the murder scene, the crime. And then what's fiction is the show is just basically like filling in some missing details within this. And again, guys, I'm not well aware of the actual Amanda Knox murder case that she's been accused of to the roommate. And so I just know that, yes, she did go back. Yes, she did. Here's the fact is she did have a boyfriend, and the current she did have a husband in that time. When she did have a husband and a baby. So that's fact. Fictional is like Amanda's, like, the way they're portraying her as a character on this show is a little bit different. Though the actual Amanda Knox seems a lot different, a different look, different hairstyle, just different everything. And so those are the odd things, because in this show, right, we know she goes back. That's a fact, like I said earlier. And we're just seeing, like, two different sides of you can tell this show is adding, like, maybe, like, fan theories to the actual case, and they're trying to, connect that all in within this one episode. That's where I get the impression of this. And so, again, that is I'm okay with that, because that's the entertaining part of watching this show. And the best way I can describe it is, I do like it. It does keep you paying attention. It does keep you on the edge of your seat. So they're trying to make it more entertaining, and they're trying to also do the classic crime show, murder, thriller, psychological thriller type show or movie. Is everybody's not innocent. Everybody who seems not innocent becomes more innocent, and then the people who are innocent become more guilty. And that's what you're going to get a lot of through this. And honestly, I love these type of shows. I love these. And I just want to say too is that I don't know, I don't have right now I don't have a idea of, do I think she did it or not. I just don't know at the moment. And I probably won't, but for you guys, I'm going to try my best to try to, figure out, do I really think she did it or not? And I'll explain why on the season finale of season 1 of that. So that'd be on that last episode, spoiler review. I will share this. I think, in general, so far, I think just because that Amanda Knox is from America, and I think Meredith is obviously she's from England, and the crime happened in Italy. I believe the reason why, well, first of all, in this scene, in this whole episode, that when they were trying to write down a statement from Amanda Knox, they didn't have a translator, and she was okay speaking Italian, but she couldn't understand it. So they finally got a translator, and so just getting a statement from Amanda Knox was confusing and stressful for a lot of detectives. But also another thing is, a lot of people just automatically accused Amanda and called her the quote-unquote, it's the American girl that did it. So I believe for that fact, and the second fact, I always believe that the reason why, if she did get away with this, is because it didn't happen, the crime didn't happen on American soil. If it happened on American soil, I believe the outcome of this, based on true story, would have been a different ending to this thing, in my opinion. just on based on episode 1. I just want to put that out there like that. I think that they're just showing like it just seems like this show is trying to say paint a picture of people who are not American. They're just kind of pointing the finger at this one American girl. So in most people's eyes, it makes Amanda Knox look more innocent at the same time. So that's what I get at, and I think that is also I think the show purposely went that route too, to again make it more entertaining and get the conversations and get more people to watch this show. So that's why I think they're doing that particular route with it, because they're giving you different viewpoints of how you could look at this, or how you can just portray episode 1, which I think that's just the entertaining part. So I have to show you guys my best of explaining, like, here's why I think they just added this or said this type of dialogue for the entertaining purpose, but here's some things that I discover that are true facts, and here's what's not. So mostly the non-facts, just fictional stuff, is just Amanda Knox narrating it the way she's explaining it from her point of view. That's the fictional stuff. Because I think the other characters in this show are showing the reality of what's actually going on. So that's what I get out of it. And if I had to give this episode a 1 out of 10, I'll give it a 6. It was good. I feel like sometimes the dialogue was a little bit too dry, or they were just staying too long in one subject of it and not just getting straight to the point of what evidence they may have found. And they weren't. I would have been okay with it if they would just tease more of what's to come, but they saved a lot of the teasers, the teasing you, the audience, that episode 2 is gonna reveal this and that. And they kind of saved a lot of that part of stuff towards the end. I like shows when they kind of spread that out, not put it all in the last few minutes of that episode, but kind of just sprinkling around through the whole episode. That's just me honestly. But other than that, it was really good. I like this. It's very addicting to watch. It's very interesting to watch, and I can't wait to see episode 2. So that is my spoiler review. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so y'all can view update. Thank you guys, and peace out.